And that was Audrey Chimwanda earlier on. Well, we speak to her live now from Bulawayo as Nelson Chamisa has recently addressed his supporters. Audrey, great to catch up with you this afternoon. Now, in that earlier conversation, thousands of supporters of Triple C were waiting to hear Nelson Chamisa's message. What was his message this afternoon?
Well, I can tell you, Hugo, that the opposition leader of the Citizens for Coalition Change remains resolute in his message that he will win this election. He even went as far as saying he's had the audience of SADC members. He says he's had audience of the European Union, and he's made it very clear to them that they need to be aware that there will be election theft. He seems to be preempting that. He's also let his supporters know that he will remain victorious, and if there's any other result that comes out of this, that they should not accept it. He also remains with his message of uniting the nation, and of course this is particularly important when it comes to the city of Bulawayo, the Matabeleland region as a whole. When we look back at the history of this country with Gukurahundi, he made mention that he will make sure that when he comes into power, they will resolve the issue of reparations and telling the truth, recognition of the pain of the victims of the Gukurahundi victims, so to speak. Of course, that's a pending issue that even the incumbent President Emmerson Mnangagwa and his government have been trying to resolve going forward. Hugo.
What are the allegations repeatedly by the opposition have been of a playing field that is not level? Now, you've been in Zimbabwe, in Bulawayo in particular, for the last few days. Have you witnessed any such?
I can go as far back as, having worked as a journalist here in Zimbabwe when I was cutting my teeth as a journalist. There's always been the narrative of working in an environment that is repressive and, when it comes to independent media compared to the public broadcaster. There have been a few challenges with which the current government, this administration, has alluded to and admitted that before it was a problem for independent media to work freely and fairly and for this country to have the freedom of press. But they have said they have been working on it. And since coming to Harare for Bulawayo, I beg your pardon, to cover these elections, I can say that it's a more relaxed environment. We have been able to work freely. We've been able to speak to people from across the political divide without feeling any form of intimidation. I can only speak for our experience, for my experience as a journalist for Newzroom Afrika. So I'm not sure what will happen to Harare. We will find out as we continue with this leg of our coverage of the Zimbabwe general elections in Harare, where all the action will be happening really when it comes to the results center, which will be in Harare, and most of the political action happening there. So we'll be happy to, give our viewers feedback with regards to how media works in Zimbabwe going forward.
Now, Audrey, before we let you go, just give us a timeline, if you will, of what's happening over the next few days. We know that the election is 48 hours away. When do we expect results? When do those results start coming in before the new president of Zimbabwe is elected or confirmed?
Yes, and we're getting quite close to that. We do understand that according to the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission, which is the electoral body that is responsible for not only running but overseeing the elections in Zimbabwe, that political parties are not allowed to campaign 24 hours before the election starts. So we suspect that from Tuesday midnight, all political parties will have to cease all sorts of political activity. From my experience having covered the 2018 general elections, we had results trickling in 24 hours after the polling stations had closed. And we expect that this will be the norm and the same trend and pattern happening come the 23rd of August.
That's our reporter Audrey Chimwanda coming to us from Bulawayo in Zimbabwe, where Nelson Chamisa, opposition leader, has just had his penultimate rally in that city.